Malcolm Marx has been named South African Player of the Year for the men's. Tucks are still unbeaten in this year's FNB Varsity Cup. And then Scotland possibly, just possibly, could win the Six Nations. Welcome to Omni Rugby, proudly brought to you by SportPesa. So much for us to talk about. As always, you are the most important person. We want you to engage. We want you a part of the conversation. And we want all your comments down below. As always, I'm not alone. I'm joined by Burnz, rugby's know-it-all, a man who's smiling from ear to ear. Burnz, are you up?
I always smile from ear to ear. Don't act like it's a surprise.
Not when the Stormers lose. Last week you were a little bit upset.
Yeah, but now I'm happy.
You're happy now?
It's going to be a good day today.
Only because the Stormers didn't play, that's why. That's why I'm happy.
They're playing this weekend.
Yeah.
Jonathan Mokuena? Are you all, sir?
I'm always good, sir. Always good. It's Friday the 13th.
Hey. I forgot about that.
Everyone keep going. It's Friday the 13th. Putting it out there. But I'm good. I'm good.
No negative energy here. No negative energy. Let's start off with all the positives in terms of South African rugby. Of course, we saw the ceremony last week. Malcolm Marx walking away with the big prize. Nadine Roos walking away with the big prize for women. Gentlemen, any surprises there? I mean, Malcolm Marx was named the World Rugby Player of the Year. To me, it was almost expected that he would be named Men's Rugby Player of the Year in South Africa. Brett?
Yeah, no surprises for me. I made a prediction video of who I thought was going to win, and my only thing that I got wrong, well, not wrong, was I said it's going to be a toss-up between Libby or Nadine Roos. So either one of them could have won it. So everything else exactly spot on. So very happy.
Yeah, for me it was interesting because you look at the Springbok performance from last year, the Springbok team's performance. I think we is in such a strong position that there could have been any other nominations as well. Think about a guy like Damon Allender. Think about a guy like Siya Kolisi. Now everyone's saying Siya Kolisi is not top of the range, but look at the value and his contribution he does for the Springboks. Look at Look at Ritsejo Fadicho and Che. And then just the position we find ourselves in. I think if Malcolm didn't get it, one of the other players could easily have won it, and everyone would have been happy. But again, that's the position we're in, and I think we are blessed to be in. On the female side, and I made a few notes here, was a lady like Malinga, the winger. She was phenomenal. Boy, the captain, Mapupa, the other winger. So again, just around our females as per se as well, I think there was also some options there. But at the end of the day, I think the winners was rightful.
Yeah.
And no one, they may not say no one, I've not seen on socials or anywhere else that there's been negative comments about our winners, which is really good.
Yeah.
I mean, normally previous years you'd see people winning stuff and they're like, this one, that one, the uncles are angry, but I think South Africa's happy, so that's a good space to be.
Very happy.
In terms of some of the breakthrough players, let's talk about Ethan Hooker. I mean, he also walked away with a very special award. Brett, I know that he's a player that you've been talking about quite a lot, plays on the wing. You've made a bold prediction and said maybe he could be a regular starter at center. He also walked away with an award.
Yeah, I stand by that statement. I'm a big fan of Ethan Hooker. I think he's a very underrated player. Underrated in the sense that not a lot of people talk about him.
Yeah.
Like, he's not a hot topic every week. But I thoroughly enjoy watching that guy play, and you're going to see him get a lot more awards going forward and play 12.
You agree?
Yeah. I think, again, he's a player that got an opportunity and is definitely using it. I'm trying to think the tight end who started for the Springboks last against the Argentinians in Durban before the game. There was an injury and then he got pulled in.
Nedling Forshire?
No, not Nedling Forshire. He plays for Edinburgh. It's not Martins van der Merwe. It's
Yeah,
not
I was
Martins van der
thinking
Merwe.
Martins
I'm blank now. I can't remember his name.
Same.
I can't remember his name, but I thought he was also quite a interesting choice. I thought, again, when he got his opportunity, he didn't disappoint. Now you could see the difference between URC level and club level, but for me, the fact that he got pulled in to start against a team that's predominantly has a solid scrum, I would have maybe even thrown his name in there. But again,
Juan Venter.
Juan Venter, there we go.
Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Darren.
I'm like, how did it come to you?
Yeah, Juan Venter. I thought maybe even his name could have been thrown in there. You know, I genuinely thought, you know, again, just the few opportunities that he got to wear the number 3 jersey, he passed with flying colours. And remember, again, the step up from URC to international, it's massive. A lot of people think you just rock up and you play. Nah. It takes a massive step up.
Talking about celebrating the ladies, yes, we mentioned Nadine Ruiz earlier on, but the one thing that I want us to celebrate as well is Amy Barrett Theron, referee of the year. So often when it comes to the referees, we are always criticizing, we are always complaining, but in this case, we are celebrating her for her contribution to the sport. Brett Burnz, were you surprised?
No, of course not.
Taken off guard?
No, she's the Holly Davidson of South African rugby.
I like that, the Holly Davidson of South African rugby.
Yeah, so she's making good inroads in world rugby. She's learning her laws like to the T.
Absolutely.
So yeah, no surprise there. Good ref. She's refed me a few times. So yeah, I know she's a stickler for the rules.
Yeah,
so
and what I enjoy about her is the fact that she's taken the time. She, you know, because a lot of times referees get to the top where they are now, but they've been shot there. You know, they take the shortcut, whatever. She started at Varsity. No, she started at Varsity with, she started at Marty's with Corsair's Rugby. Corsair's Rugby then went to club. Club then went to provincial, and you know she kind of cut the teeth all the way along, and no one can actually say, no club or no coach can actually say that she's shocking. She knows her stuff. She's adamant. She prepares well. I love how she, and it's actually almost difficult to believe that a female doesn't get emotional, you know. But I like how she's calm. You know, she doesn't fight.
Yes.
You know, she stick to the rules, but she also open to engage. You know, I'm hoping we edit that, but my wife doesn't see that. But
We're leaving it in. We're leaving it in.
But I just love, for me, a biggest advantage is the fact that she's calm and she engages with players, and players appreciate that. I promise you can ask any team. If there's a referee that, you know, has got a bit of a clinch bump, then, you know, it's not like a conversation. It's not open. There's no flow, even with the coaches. But Amy, well done. Well done.
Well done to all those that won awards at the South African Rugby Awards last week. Of course, we want you to join the conversation. Any surprises for you, let us know down below. And if you want to celebrate either Malcolm Marx or maybe Amy in the comment section, please feel free to do so. Gentlemen, let's move on to Six Nations. I remember when the competition started, we had a conversation on the show. Are we going to discuss it? Yes, no, maybe. We weren't too sure. Then, Jono, I'll remind you.
Remind me.
On Saturday, someone made it an executive decision about this show. And he said, this week we are discussing Six Nations. Brett Burnz, there are rumors, speculations after the results that we saw this past weekend. Scotland might win it. Them beating the French, I couldn't believe it. I was like, no, there's something wrong here. 50-40, high scoring game. It wasn't even like one of those games where it's like 15, 18. I couldn't believe it. You must have been happy.
I was very happy. So obviously I have a little bit of Scottish roots, if you can see the hair color.
Not Irish.
No, I'm joking. It's Irish. But it's Irish.
No,
but this weekend I'm supporting the Scots to beat the Irish. So I want to just steer clear from that hate coming from the comment section. But no surprise for me. I felt like that Scottish side, it's the most passion I've seen on a rugby field in so many years. Like, we see it a lot from the Springboks, but I'm talking about a Six Nations team. And, phenomenal to watch. And to be fair, the French they were allowed to play the last 15 minutes. Because Scotland, like, we up by 30 points. We can't lose from here. And they just relaxed. And I kind of wanted to see them, like, just put that flipping nail in the coffin and keep
Like
them,
suffocate them
like it's nobody's business. But didn't happen. They still won by 10 points.
But do you think the Scots has got that though? I mean, the fact that because look, when things are going well for the Scots, their tails are up. They're a difficult team. But do you think they've got the grit and the dog to really suffocate?
No, they don't. But I would have liked to see them try.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also what when Carl Steyn went off, that also took that edge away from them. Like that guy, he's got
Yeah, he
the
was
haunt
good.
in him.
Yeah. He's South African.
Yeah,
He's South African.
he's Joburg boy. So he's got that, and I felt like when he went off because he's a leader in the team, and he's also like we just said, he's got that haunt in him. So I think when he went off, things changed, and he was man of the match at the end of the day. So happy with that result.
Yeah.
Coach Jono,
I
is
would-
it possible this weekend? Can Scotland win the Six Nations?
Look, I think the nice thing is for the rest of the Six Nations is that they playing first.
Yeah.
You know, that's the opening
it
match.
easier.
You know, so the rest of the team or the rest of the teams will actually know what to do after that final whistle, the first match. What I loved about the Scotland-France match is the technicalities that was actually executed on the day. And the ball in play time. I'm trying to see whether I can actually get the ball in play time for that match, because I almost get the feeling that the ball in play time was much higher than previous games. Now, that would then favor the Scottish team because they love, chucking the ball around. On the other side, the French, a little bit more, I think they were outsmarted tactically in terms of the kicking game, because they weren't great in the kicking game. And that's the one reason where the Scots have said, listen, we're going to keep the ball for as long as possible. What's going to be interesting to see is how Gregan Townsend actually builds on what he did last week. I almost feel that the Scots are one of those teams that if they go well, if it goes well, the tails are up. But that following week they can't back it up.
Yeah.
And this whole week, I promise you, all the haggers in Scotland, in Edinburgh, all the not the Guineas is Ireland, the haggers would be child from left, right to centre. And so it's going to be interesting to see what team firstly is being selected, and then also what team pitches up on Saturday. Because the Irish is also on the up. They've somehow, the last 2-3 matches with Gibson Park being there, they've somehow found their mojo. I'm still not sure whether their set phases are as strong as it was previously, but it's gonna be interesting to watch. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, no. It's a big one. Tomorrow, 4:10. Scotland take on the Irish. Of course, the big storyline is, can Scotland possibly win the Six Nations? Gents, a team that has surprisingly been disappointing, at least to me, is England. We have to talk about, England. I was expecting them to be...
Were you supporting the English?
No, I wasn't supporting the English, but I was expecting them to be a little bit better.
Nah.
I mean, they're second from bottom on the log standings, being beaten by Italy.
The old saying, it's the hope that kills you, bro. That's
Is
the
it?
hope that kills you.
I love that.
Even with England.
Against Italy.
Listen, show me one match where they were dominant. Show me one match where they actually, even in the build-up to the Six Nations, where they were actually playing as the best team in the world.
Yeah.
I've not seen that. They were claiming, they were making a lot of noise. This Henry Pollock kid, I mean...
Oh, yeah. Hey, he's trending on social
and
media.
it's side shows and it's this. But when the rubber hits the tar, he's nowhere to be seen. I watched Mario Toji last week, how he went off at the players. And that shows pressure. You would never see Siya doing that. You would never see Doin do that. What we will see is getting them together and being firm.
Yes.
But shouting and
Losing his cool.
Also getting a yellow card.
That's it.
Stupid. Hitting the ball out of
That's
scrum
it.
off's hand. That's grade
Yeah.
1 rugby.
Exactly. And on another show, we actually spoke about it. So he does create the turnovers at the breakdown. He does do that. But the ratio in terms of, because he competes 10 times, but he turns the ball over 3 times. Now, if you're into business, that's not great business.
Yeah.
Out of the 10 opportunities, you at least got to get it about 80%. Then you'll say you're in the mix. And that's why I feel that his desperation to try and turn over balls is just costing him and the team. Because he gets a 3, but in the C, he loses 7. So, it's something that, and I understand that because a lot of times you want to lead, you want to show, you want to, set the example as a captain. But the more you try, the further you go down the spiral.
Brett Burnz? What's wrong with England rugby at the moment?
Well, they're relying on a child like Henry Pollock. So it's a kind of in world rugby now. There's some shift has been made that's quite concerning for me. Not concerning. It's actually a little bit lacquer to see. Like for example, in South Africa, we got so much praise on Sasha, and like it's getting to him. And the same with France. So much praise on Antoine Dupont, and he was absolutely lost against Scotland. So much pressure or praise on Pollock. Same thing. He's falling off the bus because he's doing Nike commercials and not practicing rugby.
Dear caught in the headlights.
Correct. So it's kind of a little. The underdogs are like showing that hello, shine some spotlight on us because we and that's what I'm enjoying about this year's Six Nations. A team like Italy,
Azuri.
yeah,
Azuri,
it's getting very exciting, and it's sad that it's one more round because I want to see more of this. Because I haven't been a Six Nations fan for years because it's boring rugby. And this weekend was actually the first time like I said on the group, I'm super excited. We need to talk about this. So yeah, very, very excited for this weekend.
Quick predictions, gentlemen. Scotland versus the Irish tomorrow, 4:10. Coach Jono, let's start with you. Who's your money on?
I'm going to roll the dice, and I'm going to go with Ireland. I'm going to go with Ireland. I'm going to go with Ireland. Okay. They are playing in Ireland. And so that will be a massive advantage for them. I think the Irish is a difficult team to beat at home. So I'm going to go with the Irish.
Brett Burnz, the man who never gets a prediction wrong.
Please, can you just show me the Irish team? Reason why I'm saying this. Prendergast starts.
No,
Scotland wins. Crowley
agree,
starts. Ireland win. That's what I'm going with.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair.
So we'll see. Like while he's drawing up, I'm gonna go with that. I'm hoping that Prendergast starts because I want the Scottish to win the Six Nations.
And he converts all his kicks to poles. I think that's been the one area where I've not been happy. But on attack, I think he gives him more. He offers you more. But Prendergast, I don't know.
Let's have a look here. Jack Crowley, Jamison Gibson Park, Hayden Doris. Okay, so this is a very strong Irish side. So, it's going to take a lot for Scotland to win this game. But they have a chance to win the Six Nations for the first time in their history.
Yes.
Yeah.
For the first time ever.
Give it your all.
When it was the Five Nations, they won a few times. But when it's Six Nations, they haven't won anything.
Yeah.
So this is a perfect opportunity. So to show if they got the grit. Okay, I'm changing it. Even with Crowley, I'm going Scotland to win the game.
Ooh. Scotland to win the game.
Not with a bonus point though, and France might still win the Six Nations, but I think Scotland has it in them to pull an upset in Dublin.
Yo, my hands are itchy.
They're not top of the log for nothing.
Do it.
Yo.
Do it.
How much?
Go for it. Come on, put it up. Come on, dude.
Scotland are beating Ireland. In Ireland. Ossia Manir.
He's taking water. He's taking water.
Yeah.
He's taking some water.
What do you want to do?
I want to place a bet.
Let's go.
Okay.
Do you want to lose money again?
No. Who do you say is winning?
Scotland is beating Ireland this weekend.
1,000? 2,000?
1,000.
1,000 rand.
1,000. Let's go.
Are you gonna laugh again?
I finally have my bet. I've been waiting for a long time to make my money back.
I'm loaded, boy.
Hey, all right, okay, ching.
Let's go.
And this week I've been a witness, so I want to see the
1,000 rand.
1,000 rand.
Scotland are not beating Ireland. I'm telling you that for free. All right, gentlemen, next prediction. Wow. I'm excited.
Wow.
I'm excited.
Bring your cash again.
Next game, Italy taking on Wales. I think this one is...
Yeah, this one could also go either way.
Yeah.
Because the Wales has been the last 3 matches they've been growing.
Very good. Very good.
I don't know what they've done or what's been said, but they look like a competitive team. They look like the team of 2-3 years back, where all of a sudden everything's working for them. But they're coming up.
However,
They're coming up against the Azuri, who actually clubbed England last week. After 35 years. First time in 35 years.
Damn.
So, I don't know. That's one I don't know. That's what I
draadsitter.
I am. This week,
You must choose.
I'm going to take the tag. I'll sit in the draad, but I can't call this one. This one is difficult to call. Your thoughts, Brett?
I agree. I've been conflicted this whole week. Like when
Tough one.
Yeah, because I've been focused on England maybe beating France and Scotland maybe beating Ireland, stuff like that. But this game, I'm gonna go with Wales to break their bogey.
And only because you've got Welsh blood as well.
I don't, but probably.
He's got a little bit of everything.
Scottish as well.
UK. So I think that the Welsh, the last 3 games, like you've just said, they've been on the up, and they've done well against great teams. They did well against Scotland. They almost beat Scotland.
Yeah. They should have won.
That's on the verge of winning the Six Nations.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Wales beating Italy. Although I'm not taking anything away from Italy, this is probably where you should try and make your money.
Nah, don't worry. I'm fine with my bet. Don't tell me where to bet.
Okay, but I'm going Wales to win, like by 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't even be surprised if it's a draw.
Yeah.
But 1 or 2.
French versus the struggling England. Coach Jono, I mean, is there anything to talk about here?
Nah.
The French.
Allez bleu.
Done and dusted. I'll say.
Done and dusted.
Great Burnz.
English blood?
Yeah. So my mom is English. Okay, so my mom was born in England, my dad's born in Ireland. So that's how they met, that side of the world.
Oh, okay.
So that's the actual story. No Scottish, no Welsh, none of that nonsense. But I will, for the first time in my whole entire life, I will be supporting England. I really want England to cause the upset of the century so Scotland can win. If Scotland loses by a bonus point and England beats like France without a bonus point, that's Scotland winning.
Yeah.
So I really want Scotland to win the Six Nations. I really do. I want Wales to end their losing streak. I want England to beat France just because Antoine Dupont. And yeah, so I'm going. Yo,
he's torn.
I'm torn. I don't think England can beat France, but I will be supporting England.
Okay. So the French are winning.
Yeah.
Can Scotland finally win the Six Nations? That's the big storyline heading into this weekend. Of course, we want to get your predictions down below in the comment section. And let's see if I finally make my 1,000 Rand back on this very show. Gentlemen, from the Six Nations, let's move on to the United Rugby Championship. One game on the cards this weekend. Loftus, Versfeld, the place to be. Bulls versus Stormers. Now, I'll remind you, the Stormers. Stormers, 3 defeats in a row. Sharks in Cape Town. Sharks in Durban. Then, I don't know what happened at Ellis Park, but they were beaten by the Lions. Bulls heading to this one, 4 consecutive victories. Brett Burnz, wat gebeur op Loftus? Vertel jy 'n bietjie vir ons.
Okay, so we obviously saw the Bulls team, and it's absolutely stacked. Off air, I just told Jonathan that I think that this Bulls side could beat most international sides with that lineup.
Yeah.
However,
okay.
Yes.
However, Stormers also have a lot of their players coming back. The players that got them to 8 in a row.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna be a hiding from the Bulls, in my opinion. I do, however, think that if the Bulls win, it will be by a 4-8 margin around there. But I am backing the Stormers because I feel like all their players are coming back. And if John Dobson makes the right decisions, if he plays Yuri Matia at 10, moves Sasha to 15, puts Galant in the Stormers 23 side, and we have our centers back, then I feel like the Stormers have a solid chance of causing an upset. And the reason why I'm saying an upset, because this Bull side at Loftus is very dangerous. Yeah. And that team is absolutely stacked. So that's my opinion. Off to you.
Coach Jono, wat gebeur op Loftus?
first things first, the Stormers are getting some key players back. Players that can actually have a massive impact in terms of how the flow of the game is going to go. Dion Fourie. I haven't seen the Stormers team yet. Just reading up, obviously, in the media about Dion possibly being back. He's a phenomenal player. He's one of those players that, can create the magic for the backs to attack from. Galant, the backs, etc., etc., etc. However, in saying that, the Bulls has got their tails up. Spoke to Marcel could see it last week, Friday, on another show. And the feeling that I got is that the fortress, Loftus, has been cleaned up. So, what do I mean with that? All the issues that they had before Ackerman has been sorted out amongst the group. They know how they want to play, their DNA. If you look at that forwards, it's no Tirlan Tankies passing the ball. It's up the gut, through the middle.
Let's go.
Making it soft. Andre scoring. Harold Foster scoring. Outside back scoring. So, my feeling, it's going to be a steep mountain for the Stormers to climb. The Bulls, their tails are up. And remember this, I'm telling you now, I'll put down 5,000 rand to win back myself. There will be some off-the-ball stuff. That I promise you.
Definitely.
There will definitely be some it's just North versus South.
Yes.
It's the old derby, North versus South. It's always a little bit more personal. And remember, a lot of the players this week or the last 2 weeks actually met up at the Springbok alignment camp. Rassi said maybe this is number 2 to 5. This is certain positions over. So it's going to be a little bit more spicy than normal.
They want to show off a little bit. If someone was at number 2, they
And
want to be number 1.
remember what I said about the global Fredney funny.
Loftus, yo,
Boys,
lekker.
I promise you, it is the worst stadium to play at when the tails are up. It's not like It's not like you were there, man. You were there.
I was born and raised at Loftus.
Yeah.
It's a good place. Gentlemen, let's have a quick look at what the bookies are saying according to SportPesa. So, heading into this URC battle between the Bulls and the Stormers, the Bulls are the home team playing at Loftus, of course. The bookies are saying that the Bulls are the favorites. It's 1.33, meaning if you put down 100 Rand on the Bulls, you'll make 33 Rand back. But if you're a brave man or a brave woman and you put down 100 Rand on the Stormers, it will be 345 Rand that you make back. However, gentlemen, I want us, given the fact that both of you believe that the Bulls are the favorites, let's make a little bit of money according to the winning margin. Jonah, what's the points difference going to be? Because clearly you're backing the Bulls here.
Yeah. I think Bulls by 15.
Bulls
by 15. Bulls by 15.
Yowza.
Yo, that's a buck slaughter.
Bulls by 15.
All right, so according to...
Remember what they did against the Sharks? 2 weeks back. No, and I remember you did the same thing. You had this little ha behind it, and you had a little bit of laugh. And I said to you,
That was it. Good description.
look at that.
He can be accountable here. No, I just believe it's going to be a lot closer. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, right? So according to the SportPesa app, given what Jono is saying, if the home team, the Bulls, win by more than 15 points, Jono, if you put down 100 Rand, you will make 340 Rand back. Okay. Brett Burnz, winning margin between the Bulls and the Stormers.
Stormers by 4.
He's playing it safe. He's playing it safe.
He's backing his favorite team, away team, by 4.
What is that, man?
So I just want to highlight the fact that there was no confidence, no conviction in the way that was said. It was almost like a comment to the side.
And let's move on.
Brett, I just want you to say that again. Please look into your camera and say that with confidence and conviction, please. We want to make it count with SportPesa. So, please, make it count.
Stormers by 4.
That's still not convincing. Tell us why you believe the Stormers are going to win by 4.
Because I think John Dobson learned from his mistakes And I think that he heard our episode last week and he's going to take it to heart, and he will not let his players that aren't on form jeopardize the outcome of this game. And I'll tell you, the Stormers have been the Bulls' bogey side for the last 6 seasons. Whether it's been at Loftus or DHL Stadium, it's been the Stormers have had the upper hand. Especially when they were on their best with Jake White there. The Stormers still, a mediocre Stormers side, still beat a very strong Bull side.
Yeah.
So this North-South derby, it's called the North-South derby for a reason. In history, it's always been a close game. If it goes up to 15 points, then I'll be quite devastated.
Okay. All right.
But I think it's going to be a close game. I'm going Stormers by 4 because I think the Bulls are probably going to win by 4. But Stormers are my boykies, so I'm going Stormers by 4.
Lovely.
Stormers by 4 is Brett's call. Now, according to the SportPesa app, the away team, the Stormers, if they win by 1 to 7 points, it's 5.8. Meaning,
Yowza.
if you put down 100 Rand, you make 580 Rand back. Gentlemen, just looking at the importance of this game, of course, on the show, we love to shine a spotlight on the Stormers. The Stormers started this season being absolutely brilliant. They were the unbeaten team heading into the second half of the season, 2026. And since then, they've been incredibly shaky.
Yeah.
Coach Jono, this game, why is this game so important? Because when I look at this game, it's almost a make or break for their season. Because 3 defeats in a row hasn't looked good for their record. And the confidence that we often talk about on this show is slowly but surely seeping away from that squad.
Yeah, you asked, and you touched on the fact that they're not playing as great rugby. I think, they've been lured into into false sense of they can tear any team to pieces with a counter-attack. And it started all against the the match they played against the Sharks, where they were a little bit outsmarted in terms of the kicking game. Every time they received the ball, they tried counter-attacking, they got trapped behind the advantage line, they got turnover, penalty, kick back into their own half. Now, yes, I am all with attacking rugby, all with chucking the ball around, all with expressing yourself. But it's got to be calculated. You cannot, I don't care at what level you play, you cannot run every single ball back and think you're going to just, because and I spoke about it on another show, as rugby is developing, or the phase that rugby is finding itself in now, is the game is more defensive orientated. So what I mean with that, so you get rewarded for breakdown, you get rewarded if you stop behind the advantage line, but then it is also the fine balance in terms of tackle technique. The laws is trying to promote attacking rugby rather than defense. So you look at, again, the kicking game, how important that has become. Every single kick is a 50-50. Every single kick is competitive. So if you don't have wingers that is strong and good under the high ball, that's why a guy like Ethan Hooker could actually play more for the Springboks. And if you don't have that, then it scraps. Turnover, you're in trouble. Because remember, the defense is not set up of turnover ball. So the game for me, if the Stormers don't develop the kicking game a little bit more and be patient when they need to attack, they will always be under pressure. Because it's not like they don't have the players. Wadi Kalandi can kick.
Yes.
Shasha can kick. Damien can kick. I think they just maybe need a little bit more guidance in terms of when to kick and when to have a proper goal. Because again, they can tear any defensive system to pieces.
Brett Burnz, this game at Loftus, when you look at your beloved Stormers team, I say this is a make or break for their season. What do you say? And also, why is this game so important? You spoke about the fact that the Stormers are a bogey side for the Bulls. Why do they need to win?
Well, firstly, because I absolutely despise the Bulls.
Of course you do.
Yeah, and also I don't want to travel all the way to Pretoria to go see my team lose. So that's point number 2. But if I look at that Bulls side, it's more important for the Bulls to win than it is for the Stormers to win. Let me explain why.
Okay.
Why.
Okay.
Because
Let
the
him
Bulls have literally the start of their season. Their coach was ridiculed. Like, how is this guy? I'm one of them that ridiculed him, so that's why I can say it. He's been the guy that they've looked at and they've thought, oh, was this guy the right man for the job? And now he has a chance to play in a North-South derby, the biggest game in South African rugby, has been for the last 80 years, and he has a chance to stake his name as a coach for the Bulls. So for the Stormers, it's just like, you got one over us in the last 9 years, so I'm joking. I'm joking. It's way more serious than that. I think the Stormers, they obviously had all the pressure. They were leading 8 games in a row, unbeaten. So the Stormers need to win this game seriously just to get their season back on track. Because lose this game now, they travel then with a losing record of 4.
Yeah.
And then to go away from South Africa and try to win games, it's going to be disastrous.
Here's a question for you as a Stormers supporter or Stormers fan. Would the loss on Saturday, a potential loss, let me say that, or a possible loss on Saturday, not put pressure on John Dobson in terms of the management and the fans then? Because on your point you just made now about Johan Ackerman getting the first 3 matches being under pressure, because if they lose this one, they'll be actually in the same position.
Yes, 100%.
For this season, not previous season. Would that put pressure on Dobson though?
I think last week against the Lions already put that pressure that you're referring to on John Dobson. I feel like he lost to the Sharks twice in a row and then the Lions, which theoretically on paper should have been 3 easy wins. And now to lose to but because the Bulls are on a high, I don't think it's the end of the world.
Okay, I hear you.
Yeah, I think the Bulls are expected to win, and I think that could be the feeling in the Stormers camp as well. Like we're gonna have to
dig deep,
very deep. Yeah. Like it's gonna have to be our best game of the season.
Yeah,
if we want to go and do something at Loftus. So
fair.
Yeah,
fair.
Loftus Versfeld, the place to be for a massive North-South derby between the Bulls and the Stormers in the URC. What do you think? Who do you think is possibly winning this game? Coach Jono says the Bulls will be smiling from ear to ear. And, for the first time, Brett Burnz not being so confident, but he says that the Stormers will win by 4. We want to hear from you in the comment section. Gentlemen, it would be a crime if we don't talk about the 2026 FNB Varsity Cup. Round number 4, we saw this past week. And I need to apologize and say, UJ, hey, I was backing you guys, until they went to Cape Town and then got clapped by the reigning defending champions. 87 to 28 points.
Yeah, that got deep.
Coach Jono,
that
you and I know we've got a special relationship with UJ. Talk to me about this team. They were looking good.
Yeah.
Hey, but that Cape Town win was a problem.
Spot on. And the Ike Tigers, I'll give it to them. They probably the only team that can play at their home field and do what they want. They understand that win to the T. And and I said to my wife while watching the match, because we sat there, we watched it, we had dinner, and I said to her, you hear about the Green Mile, but if you don't run into the field and play there, you will never understand the Green Mile. Because it's I almost think that there's international teams that will struggle to go play there. And that's how difficult it is.
Wow.
But the Ike Tigers, how they manage, they got a left foot fly-off, which not a lot of teams has. How they manage the win and how they actually found plans around that. Spot on. I give it to you, Jay. I think maybe last week after the Picker win, maybe things just got too lekker in Joburg. And unfortunately, that is the Joburg environment. That is the Joburg mentality. If we win, it's just lekker until you need to. Because remember, when you win against all odds, people are telling, yes, Brett, you're so great.
You're the one.
You're the one. You start believing the hype. Yeah. You start believing the hype. But you forget that you actually need to start reset again and cut out the noise to go again. And that's a challenge when, especially for schools and teams in Joburg. It's hell of a difficult because there's a lot of noise. Lucky in Joburg's anders, bro. Lucky in Joburg's anders.
Brett Burnz, a team that you've been watching quite closely. You spoke about Tuks. We mentioned them before the season even started. You mentioned quite a few times on the show that Tuks are looking as though they're the most professional outfit. They are currently unbeaten in round number 4. Dismantling a team that's struggling. CUT 78 to 17 points. Is this the season for Tuks? Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. And Tuks didn't even play their stronger side. They left that center that's been demolishing everyone. They left him at home. They
didn't need him.
Yeah, and he's been I don't know. This Tuks side is just it's very impressive to watch. So impressive to watch. That and the UJ game are the only games that I watched. I enjoyed this Tuks team, and I'm gonna keep on enjoying them because I think they're gonna win the final by this far as well. They're in a different stratosphere to everyone else.
Yeah, no, they're very good.
They are playing good rugby. They are playing good rugby.
Let's move on to a derby that lies ahead on Monday. Round number 5, quarter to 5. Reigning defending champions, Ike Tigers taking on Marties. Marties haven't necessarily been the best this season, but that is, in my opinion, the game to watch. We'll be there for the SportPesa match day experience. Coach Jonah?
Yeah.
What's happening in this derby?
Yeah. I think I'm going to go with UCT in this one.
UCT?
Yeah, UCT. Even though they're playing at Donny Craven. The Marties team does not look great. They don't look like the team that previously would, again, annihilate teams. Whereas UCT, they look like the team that's keen. They wait for that moment to actually take you to pieces. They've got a good pack. They can scrum. They've got a good maul, which I don't think Marties has at the moment. I'm not sure what's happening with Marties and what Kabamba floors, but I think UCT will be the better team on the day.
Just a quick correction there. They're playing at the Green Mile.
I thought they're playing. Wow.
Now that makes it even more interesting.
Absolutely. I thought, in my head, they're playing at, there we go. I think Green Mile answers your question. There we go.
Brett Burnz?
Copy and paste exactly what I said.
Give me a score prediction.
Although I knew that they're not playing at the Donny Craven Stadium.
Wow. I thought you were
You missed your opportunity. You should have jumped in and said, however. Now, gentlemen, it's a big Monday that lies ahead. It is the 2026 FNB Varsity Cup. The game to watch, in my opinion, is the derby. Ike Tigers taking on Marties. We'll be there for the SportPesa match day experience. It's going to be a good time in Cape Town. Thank you so much for joining us on Omni Rugby this week. Of course, so many talking points. Malcolm Marx, Nadine Roos being named the most valuable players, let's call them that, in South African rugby for the last season. And then when you look at the Six Nations this weekend, can Scotland possibly win the Six Nations? And a big battle in Cape Town. We want to hear all about it in the comment section down below. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
Ciao.